Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for staying with us right here, of course, on TV 47. Nakwambia leo ni Friday. Good Friday. Happy Easter weekend to everybody. Let me tell you, tonight, show ni moto. Show ni moto. Wacha niwaambie basi maneno hapa itakuwaje. Auntie. Anaitwa Auntie wa Mporompompo. Salimia watu. Karibia.
Mambo kwa ushahidi. Auntie wa Mporompompo yupo TV 47. Tukisema kutanuka kutachimbika ndugu yangu. Hapa leo ni udamvu. Ndio mambo kwa ushahidi. Nimekuja na mume wangu. Mimi si kurubembe wake ila ni mke wake. Upo. Mungu njoo waambie.
Yeye inamaanisha nini ole?
Yaani mimi ndo mke wa ndoa.
Na waambie ni huyo sasa Bolo Bespoke.
Ndio.
Anaitwa na Austin. Kama kuna jina serious.
Unajua mpaka jina yangu formal. Hiyo jina watu wajue. Watu wajue tu Bolo Bespoke. And today we right here at TV 47. And when we're here, it's about to get real.
It is getting real.
Kwani what is money?
What is money? What is money? Lakini mmetusumbua sana online. Mnatusumbua, mnatustress, pressure, ekangutavie. Mnatupatia pressure,
Kadogo tu.
Acha niulize kama hiyo suti, kama hiyo outfit ya Prince Inda ilikuwa how much?
Ndio tumeingia.
Nataka kujua.
Relax. Leo nitakupea exclusive zote one by one. Keep calm. I'm here for you.
Nimeshindwa kusema how much it was. Guys, it will be a fantastic show. Tufanye introduction ya show.
A good evening to you guys. Live on studio today on TV 47, we have the Bolos, Mweni and Bolo, giving you the exclusive of what you don't know. Yani ndani ya studio leo. Tunaye Auntie wa Mporompompo na mume wake Bolo. Yani ni udamvu. Umbea. Mambo kwa ushahidi. Tunakumwagia yote. Hamuna nina faraja. Shamra ribo. La mpira kwenye ungo wa sokomoko. Ninapokuletea mambo kwa ushahidi ya Bolo na Mweni. Keti kitako. Leo mpenzi mtazamaji. Kitachimbika, kutanuka. Upo nyonyo.
Five members of a single family in Matembe village, Masimba ward, Kisii County, brutally killed by an enraged mob last night. The villagers suspected the family of being behind the murder of a middle-aged man found dead a month ago.
Tunasikia ni mob injustice ilifanyika.
Christian faithful across the nation joined millions around the globe to observe Good Friday. The day marked before Easter Sunday commemorates the execution of Jesus Christ and holds deep spiritual significance for many Christians. Tonight marks exactly 1 year since the untimely death of Chief of Defense Forces General Francis Omondi Ogola. As the nation reflects, we revisit the somber day that left a lasting mark on Kenya's military and collective memory.
Hakuna masaidia ingine kutoka kwa mtu ingine. Sisi nakaa tu kwa sida tu.
Man, what an introduction. That was, of course, is going to be a fantastic 1 hour and a couple of minutes right here on this Friday with me, Betty. Remember also we have Willis Ochieng, who's going to, of course, be talking to us about which is which. Do you say lettuce or do you say letters? All right, let's first, of course, begin with the serious part of the bulletin. Our sign language interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai. Now, we begin with some devastating news. And 5 members of the same family, including a visitor and her child, have been brutally killed by a mob in Kisii. Now, the angry crowd is said to have been on a revenge mission after accusing, of course, the people who were involved, another villager, and trying to cover it up. Elizabeth Atieno has this particular story. Take a look.
A cloud of smoke billowing from the thatched roofs of these mud houses in Siroroko village, Kisii County, paints the grim picture of houses up in flames. And clearly, all is not well. The occupants of these houses have since been brutally murdered by a section of residents who are thirsty with revenge.
Na vyumba viwili vikachomwa. Tumetoka pale mashinani, tumekuta kweli ni kweli watu waliaga. Tunasikia ni mob injustice ilifanyika.
It is an incident that has led to the loss of both lives and livelihoods. 5 people from a family, including a visitor and her child, have been brutally killed by the mob. Another family member managed to escape the early morning bloodbath and reported the incident at Ramasha police station.
Watu waliweza kupoteza maisha. Usiku wa leo ni watu 5.
Residents who declined to comment on camera for fear of victimization claimed the victims had been accused previously of killing another person and concealing the act at this brick-making field.
Jambo la mob justice, kama serikali tunalikemea. Wananchi hawapaswi kuchukulia sheria kwa mkono.
Area Deputy County Commissioner Jen Munene says a crisis sub-county security meeting had been convened and resolved to urge the residents to volunteer information in confidence to the authorities for prompt action. Elsewhere, chiefs, assistant chiefs, and Nyumba Kumi elders were put on high alert to ensure calm is restored. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Now, President William Ruto has suspended Dr. Swaroop Mishra from his role as the chairperson of the Kenya Biovax Institute. Now, according to a statement from the office of the president, the suspension will remain in place while investigations are carried out into serious claims of unethical and illegal organ transplant procedures at Medihill Hospital and Fertility Center in Eldoret. Now, a facility founded by Dr. Mishra, the president has also reiterated his administration's commitment to fighting corruption and ensuring integrity in the healthcare sector, as well as justice for all who have been affected. Take a look. Now, Catholic bishops and other church leaders are calling on politicians to reflect on how they lead and to ensure they do not cause unnecessary suffering to Kenyans. The leaders are urging them to take this Easter season as an opportunity to repent and commit to ruling with integrity and compassion. Well, Good Friday was observed across the country as Christians marked the day believed to be Jesus' final moments before his crucifixion. Paul Kirobi brings us the details.
As Kenyans gathered to mark Good Friday in the capital city of Nairobi, Catholic Bishop Philip Anyolo used the occasion to call on political leaders to step up and foster a culture of good governance and responsible leadership.
We have done our part, and what can you do, the government, because the money you have got, the taxes, is also on their part to do for the Kenyans as such. So it's not a question of Serikali's idea, but also to adjust. We ask the government to help so that they do their part and we do our part. That's what Christ did. He did his part and he told us, now you do your part.
This Easter holiday comes at a time when many young people across the country are losing hope in the employment sector, a situation that continues to impact their daily lives. The Archbishop urged Kenyans to move away from anger and instead embrace the innovation and potential of the youth, saying their creativity could be the foundation for a stronger, more prosperous nation.
I know at many times they have been disappointed, but they always arise again, rejuvenate again to continue developing the nation. I want to encourage them that there are so many spheres of working, not counting so much what the government should do for them, not counting so much what others should do them, but what they should do as well, so that they hold the government and they hold others responsible.
Good Friday, observed on the 18th of April this year, is one of the most significant dates on the Christian calendar. Across Nairobi, Catholic faithful marked the day with a reflective and symbolic procession, reenacting the way of the cross. The sacred procession passed through key landmarks, including the Parliament buildings, with the faithful pausing at 14 stations, each representing a pivotal moment from Jesus' condemnation to his crucifixion and death. The event served as a powerful reminder of Christ's suffering and ultimate sacrifice for humanity. For Christians, Easter is not just about remembrance. It's a celebration of hope. The resurrection of Jesus Christ, central to Christian belief, symbolizes triumph over death and offers the promise of eternal life to all believers. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, tension broke out at Takwa Mosque in Jeru, Nairobi, after two rival groups clashed violently over the mosque's leadership. Now, the confrontation, which escalated into a knife fight, left two people seriously injured. Now, police have arrested a suspect, and the mosque has since been temporarily closed as investigations continue. Well, this report has been produced by Mike Chalo. Take a look.
At Takwa Mosque in Jeru, Nairobi, a fierce leadership battle is playing out between two opposing factions, each determined to take control of the mosque's administration and operations. The situation forced police officers to intervene in an effort to de-escalate tensions and restore order at the religious site. National religious leaders also attempted to mediate, though with little success so far.
SUPKEM na jamii ya mosque wamejaribu wakaleta hata upatanishi imekuwa ngumu.
The situation intensified shortly after police had left the scene when an imam who arrived at the mosque armed with a court order appointing him as the official caretaker was blocked at the entrance. A confrontation ensued, during which he allegedly attacked those barring his entry, leaving two individuals with serious knife wounds.
Nikamwambia wanipatie court order. So the court order was not addressed to me. Haikuwa inaandikwa jina yangu na nini. Walikuwa watu wanne, mwingine walinchapa na vitu kwa kichwa kwa kuninyang'anya kifunguo.
Kwa watu walikingia misikiti walitupiga, wakatuumiza mpaka wamenipasua kichwa.
The injured parties claim that the imam involved in the attack, identified as Ibrahim Mohammed Hussein, an Ethiopian national, is allegedly closely connected to high-ranking government officials, often invoking their ties in ways they describe as intimidating and oppressive.
Tumerudia kwa mara mingi, tumewapeleka kotini lakini wako na hela nyingi kutushinda. So hatuwezi kushindana nao.
Si tuko wengi hapo, jamii wengi, lakini tunanyanyaswa na jamii moja sababu wanajipika kifua, wako na duale. Utakufa hata wewe leo karibu akufe.
According to area residents, the land on which the mosque stands was donated by a well-wisher, with the community collectively contributing to the mosque construction.
Na jina hiyo kwa hiyo msikiti ni ya mama moja mkazi wa Njiro anaitwa Abdia Kasim. Alipatiana hiyo ardhi yake, lakini Waislamu ndio walichanga wakajenga hiyo msikiti.
The suspect is currently in police custody when the mosque remains temporarily closed as efforts to resolve the ongoing leadership dispute continues.
Well, tonight, former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, he is, of course, the ex-Interior Cabinet Secretary, is in the country after jetting back from the United States on Thursday night. Well, Matiang'i's arrival coincides with mounting speculation, of course, on his 2027 presidential bid. Take a look.
The return of former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i 2 years to the next general election, after keeping a low profile abroad, has excited the country's political landscape and heightened speculation on his 2027 presidential bid.
The safe arrival of our leader.
Matiang'i, flagged by opposition leaders, on arrival at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on Thursday night, avoided politics, saying he will speak when he gets the opportunity.
I'm very happy to see all of you and I'm very happy to be home. Asante sana, tuombe Mungu atusaidie tukipata kupumzika kidogo, alafu tutapata nafasi ya kuongea sisi wote pamoja. Si namna hiyo? Asante sana na Mungu awabariki.
Matiang'i's return has jolted his Kisii and Nyamira backyards, where locals welcomed his return, but told his rival in Gusiland, former Chief Justice David Maraga, to keep off the 2027 presidential race.
Na vile Matiang'i alikuwa ametenda mbeleni, sasa atafanya makuu zaidi kuliko yale ambayo atungefikia.
Leo hii tumemwona amefika, na huyo ndiye mteule wa uongozi wa Kenya. Kwa huyu ambaye ni Maraga, alisema yeye hataki hongo. Labda saa hii atueleza amepewa nini aje kupiga Matiang'i.
Haya maneno yanatoka sehemu kule kwa Maraga, anakuja kutuambia kwamba anataka uongozi kama rais. Maraga rudi nyumbani atulie.
Matiang'i is next week expected to set up a command center where he will be meeting leaders as he prepares to set up his campaign machinery, despite avoiding the limelight and only making appearances in selected places.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time in Washington and not on the ground. And outside the social media, people asking questions on what's going on there. And those questions are not always positive or negative, but they are questions. He's kind of a second-tier player who has the potential for moving up to the first. But right now he's just a second tier.
In the opposition camp, Matiang'i will be facing a litmus test to prove himself a formidable force, with opposition leader Kalonzo Musyoka already having a head start. Others, among them Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya and Okiya Mtata, have declared their presidential bid.
Yes, he does. He stands a chance. Those chances very high. They are reasonable, but they are not as high as Kalonzo's. There is that thing. Then there is the Tawe man, who is becoming a serious force. I think the Tawe man looks as if he's even more serious than Matiang'i.
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party has already declared Matiang'i as its presidential flag bearer in the 2027 poll, capitalizing on what some say is his stellar performance as a cabinet secretary during the Kenyatta administration. Apul Kamau, TV47.
All right, now hundreds of worshippers at St. Mary Kanunga Catholic Church marked this year's Easter celebrations by holding special prayers and condemning the growing use of illicit alcohol and drugs in their community. Now, they expressed concern over the mushrooming of local bars and rising deaths linked to these substances, which they say are seriously affecting the community's mental health and well-being.
All right. Now, tonight, the nation marks exactly 1 year since the tragic death of the Chief of Defense Forces, General Francis Ogola, and 9 other gallant KDF officers who perished in Elgeyo-Marakwet County during Operation Maliza Uhalifu. Now, while the Kenya Defense Forces fraternity gathered at Moi Air Base in Nairobi for a solemn memorial service in honor of the fallen soldiers, General Ogola's parents are crying foul for being abandoned by the state. As our very own Lennox Sangre now reports, the wreckage of the ill-fated helicopter has since been collected from the crash site in Elgeyo-Marakwet, a location that has now been renamed Shamba la Ogola in memory of the general. Take a look.
It is exactly 1 year, but the pain of April 18th, 2024 is still too fresh, too raw to be buried by time. TV47 returns to Sindar Farm in Elgeyo-Marakwet, a quiet patch of earth now marked by fire and memory. Here, the nation lost its Chief of Defense Forces, CDF General Francis Ogola, Kenya's 4-star general, and with him 9 others, sons and daughters of our soil, aboard the Hiwi helicopter. They had flown here in the name of peace under Operation Maliza Uhalifu. General Ogola had visited troops across Baringo, Elgeyo-Marakwet and West Pokot. But shortly after lifting off from Cheptulai Boys High School, the skies turned cruel. The helicopter came down on what locals called Shamba la Amani, a farm of peace, now a scar of war. On impact, the fire consumed the aircraft with only 2 surviving the crash. The ground was sealed off as a crime scene, but no cordon tape could contain the grief. Today, the Shamba la Amani farm where General Ogola and others crashed lies bushy, forgotten by man, but not by memory. Here, beneath the silence sleep the gallant soldiers of the soil. One patch remains barren. No grass will grow there. It is the exact spot where the helicopter burst into flames. Alex Kosgei has lived to tell the cruel tales of the CDF copter. He was the first to witness the crash. He says his community has since abandoned the land for what they witnessed during the horror.
Mimi ndio nilikuwa upande wa kitchen, nilikuwa nikipika chakula ya hii shamba letu la Sindar. So wakati tulikuwa tunapika chakula, tukasikia ndege tulikuja hivi, wakati sijui iliamka ama ilikuwa inakuja mnakani, ilikuwa tunadhani ndege inakuja ikiland kwa shamba letu. Lakini tukasikia sauti nyingine yenye haikuwa vile ndege ilikuwa inakuja. Kidogo tu tunasikia tu chini tu naanguka tu boom. Ndio tukatoka kwa kitchen, tukakuja basi kwenye ndege iliangukia. Tukadhani imeland lakini ndege imeanguka. Ndio tukakuja. Ni kama shida tu ilikuwa ni kama ni propeller ama ni engine, kwa sababu ile nguruma sauti nyingine tofauti. Si kama ya ndege ya kawaida. Wakati ndege ilianguka, wengine wakalala bandani, wengine walipakia mpaka kesho yake, wakakaa karibu 4 to 5 days. Ndio sasa wakatawanyika mahali penye mzee Ogola aliangukia.
Tangu mwaka jana, mwaka 2 zilizopita, hii area ilikuwa na usalama mbaya sana. Ogola alikuwa mtu mzuri. Ukiona mtu mkubwa akitembea hii area kuangalia maofisa yake, alikuwa anatujali. So hiyo masiku huyu CDF alikuja huku, akakuja tu area ya Jetule, akazungumza na maofisa ya KDF, alafu baadaye kidogo akaangukia hapo. Hii shamba tulikuwa tunatayarisha kulima. Na sponsor alituambia atatuahidi trakta, akatuchimbia maji hapa juu, akasema atatupea mbegu. Tangu siku hiyo sasa wakati Ogola alianguka hapa, maneno ikarudi nyuma. Sisi NBR hapa tuko wachache, tuna patrol tu huku tukizunguka tukiangalia usalama. So tukakaa hii area tangu hiyo siku, wakati hii ndege ilianguka hapa hii area hapa chini, tukakuja pata sasa kumbe kuna mkubwa wa jeshi alikuwa hapa. Tukaangalia tukasikia Ogola alikuwa anazungukia kuangalia maneno ya usalama hii area. Hapo sasa ndio tulijua mzee Ogola alikuwa anatujali sana, anapenda hii area, anapenda watu yake, hata anatupenda kwa sababu alitupea ADF kikosi 2 ya Cheptule na Samu. Alikuwa mtu muungwana sana.
Kaben area Assistant Chief Isaac Murkomen, where the crash took place, confirms the community has since renamed the ground to Shamba la Ogola to honor a general who gave his last breath in service.
Wananchi wa Kaben walikuwa wamekuja kufyeka ili kulima. Walikuwa wanabania kabisa kulima kwa wingi. Lakini wakati huo, wakati ndege ilianguka, naona hii shamba imeachwa, imekuwa mahame, imekuwa msituni, mpaka hata saa hii hakuna kazi imeendelea. Watu wameshtuka sababu tukio kama hilo alikuwa limefanyika huku tangu, na mpaka saa hii tuseme tu watu wamerelocate, wameenda mashamba zingine hapa next, kama ile shamba ambalo tuliona pale, hiyo ni shamba ambalo watu wamerelocate kwenda kufanya kazi upande huo. Ile asma ama ile ndoto ya Generali Ogola ya kutembea eneo hili, kutembelea shule ya Cheptule Boys, asma yake imetimia, kwa sababu kwa sasa tunapozungumza hivi wanafunzi wanasoma shule ya upili ya Cheptule Boys na wanaendelea vizuri. Ujenzi imekuwa almost complete. Manake wanafunzi wamekuja na wanajeshi bado wako pale wanaendelea na ile kazi. Nafikiri hata zile mashule zingine ambazo ziko mbali na hapa, ule ujenzi bado unaendelea. Na hiyo ndio tunashukuru sisi, manake ile asma yake serikali imeendeleza. Shamba hili tunapozungumza kwa sasa tunaliita shamba la Ogola.
Back home in Masumbi, Alego Usonga, Siaya County, his parents live with an emptiness that words cannot fill. Mzee Joel Okech, the CDF's father, still speaks of his son in present tense and willing to accept his absence.
Yeye napenda kusaidia watu. Napenda kusaidia watu kwa roho yake. Kwa roho yake nasaidia watu. Hata mimi nasaidia mimi. Hata watu wengine. Kusaidia hapa bado ona. Kwa kutoka yeye naenda.
Mama Pascalia Okech, Ogola's mother, says after her son's burial, the state's presence stopped.
Tangu yeye naenda, hakuna masaidia ingine kutoka kwa mtu ingine. Sisi nakaa tu kwa sida tu.
Walikuwa kana nifukuza wanalipa tu kidogo kidogo. Napo naye baada hata sahii niko na pesa nyingi. Alini promise ati atanipatia kazi ya jeshi nikimaliza shule. Na alikuwa kana niambia ati nitie bidii masomoni ili nipate grade C+ up. And then sasa hii sidhani kama nitapata kazi.
That week, just days before the skies betrayed him, General Francis Ogola was preparing to celebrate a milestone, his father's 100th birthday, a celebration that would never be.
Mimi hapa Ogola ni shemeji wangu. Mimi ndio bwanangu ni mdogo kwa familia yake. Kwa hivyo kutoka kifo cha Ogola, sisi kama familia bado tunahuzunika. Ogola alikuwa mtegemeo yetu na Ogola alisimama na watu wengi, hata kama si familia. Hapa nje kuna watu bado ambao wanalia kuhusu, kuna wale walikuwa nalipiwa school fee, wengine walisimama na hata wa university, wengine ni watu wengi hata ambao sisi hatuwajui. Tuliona tu wakati kifo ili kufika, ndio hapo tulijua kumbe alikuwa anasaidia watu. Kuna mama wale wazee, wamama wenye wajiwezi, wengine bwana zao walishakufa, bado ni alisimama na hao mama. Hao mama bado, yani watu wanalia mpaka wa leo. Sasa kilio chetu hatujui itaisha wapi. Juu huyo shemeji wangu sijaipata na mtu kama huyo mashani mwangu. Juu hata sijui roho yake ilikuwa aje. Alikuwa mtu wa kupenda ukweli, alipenda Mungu wake. Hata wakati akikuja kuona baba, unapata akuwa na hao mabodyguards wake walikuwa nakaa kando ila kwe wakati na familia wake, na yeye hakuchagua ni nani anamsalima, ni nani anaongea na yeye. Hata watoto wadogo hao wachanga, hata mkono zao zilikuwa na matope kiasi gani, bado watamsalimia.
A year since the tragic crash that claimed the life of Chief of Defense Forces General Francis Ogola, a military-led investigation has pointed to engine malfunction as the cause of the helicopter crash. The Ministry of Defense says the Hiwi helicopter was considered highly reliable, having successfully completed numerous VIP and combat missions. But even with the official findings on the table, questions still abound. Political leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka have cast doubt on the copter's findings, raising concerns over possible lapses in security and accountability.
General Ogola was taken out. He was taken out. Nobody would believe that story. And there was a story behind why they may have wanted to take him off. He was sent by the National Security Council to go to bombers of Kenya that time, before results were released. And I think that people said they would deal with them. Some of them were hard to say, we'll deal with this guy later. But because of the Tonje rules, there was no way General Ogola was not to become the next head of our military, the CDF. So he was taken out. And that for me, and I should be forgiven for holding that view. I don't even seek forgiveness. That is my own view. But in order for Kenyans to know what exactly happened, we need an independent inquiry, possibly led by Parliament. If parliamentarians feel intimidated, an independent kind of inquiry.
On board that day was General Ogola, barely a year into his tenure as CDF. Alongside him, Brigadier Swale Saidi, who was serving as Commander Combat Engineers, Colonel Duncan Keitanyi, Lieutenant Colonel David Sawe, Ogola's pilots Major George Benson Magondu and Captain Sora Mohammed. Ogola's aide, Captain Hilary Litali, Senior Sergeant John Kinywa Mureithi, Sergeant Cliffons Omondi, Sergeant Ross Nyawira, who was working in General Ogola's media team. During the deadly crash, only 2 KDF officers made it out alive. That is Colonel Kasaine Olekuruta and Corporal Frankfurt Karanja Mugire. On Thursday, the Kenya Defense Forces fraternity gathered at Moi Air Base in Nairobi for a solemn memorial service in honor of fallen heroes and heroines who tragically lost their lives in the Hiwi copter crash. Colonel Kasaine Olekuruta, one of the 2 surviving officers from the crash, gave an emotional reflection on the journey of healing.
We remember them not for how they died, but for how they lived, they smiled, and how they mattered. And to my fellow survivor, Koplo Karanja Mogire, over there, brother, we carry scars, visible and invisible. But we carry more than just scars. We carry something deeper, a responsibility to live, truly live and live well.
We gather in solemn remembrance of our departed heroes who died in the line of duty while serving our dear motherland, Kenya. Despite this, our KDF remains a one force, strongly united both in good and bad times.
To the families gathered here, and I thank you very, very much for coming to share with us because we are a family. And to those who could not be with us physically, and I know they are here, they are with us in spirit because of one reason or another. Again, your resilience continues to inspire the entire KDF family and the nation at large. You have borne an unimaginable burden with grace and strength. And please know that you are not alone.
General Ogola was laid to rest in Siaya home in a military burial attended by Commander-in-Chief President William Ruto. Though General Ogola's boots now lie still, his courage marches on, etched in the memory of a nation and echoed through the barracks of history. Lennox Sengre, TV47, Nairobi.
Sports News brought to you by Maybets. Join Maybets leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako. Chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybets. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 0000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia, pesa inavutia.
Well, definitely that anthem that starts the weekend. Pesa inavutia. Well, that's what the song says. All right, let's get, of course, into some sporting action. And Olympic champions Emmanuel Wanyonyi and Beatrice Chebet were crowned Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year during the Sports Personality of the Year Sawyer Awards 2024 held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center on Thursday night. Now, junior starlets head coach Mildred Cheche also lifted the Coach of the Year title, while football legend John Bobby Ogola was inducted in the Sawyer Hall of Fame. And Tony Kwalanda has the details. Take a look at this.
Double Olympic gold medalist Beatrice Chebet lifted the Sportswoman of the Year title during the Sports Personality of the Year Awards held at Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi on Thursday night. The 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters maestro shrugged off stiff competition from 1,500 meters world record holder Faith Kipyegon and Boston Marathon star Helen Obiri. In the men's category, 800 meters champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi clinched the trophy after beating 5,000 meters Paris Olympics silver medalist Ronald Kwemoi and Tokyo Marathon winner Benson Kipruto.
Naweza sema mimi nishaanza season kitambo. Nimekimbia 1500 meters Grand Slams. So hiyo ni preparation for 800 meters kwa Tokyo. So far, sina pressure, niko zero pressure.
In the men's sportsman with disability category, Paris Paralympics long jump silver medalist Samson Ojuka lifted the title ahead of Kennedy Ogada of paracycling and powerlifter Shadrach Kipyegon.
The title is a great, huge honor being acknowledged by the country. I hope to win again next year. So we'll continue working hard and hopefully we'll be here again same time next year.
The women's title went to discus star Michelle Chepngetich.
It's phenomenal when we see our women athletes and sports people really excel, especially externally. And just one name that comes to mind, Faith Kipyegon. I mean, she's been a superstar. We recently awarded her $2 million, for breaking 2 world records.
The national under-17 girls football team head coach Mildred Cheche scooped the Coach of the Year trophy, while her team Junior Starlets was named the Sports Team of the Year. The men's national basketball champions Nairobi City Thunder walked away with the Sports Team of the Year crown.
We just recently got everyone into our camp just for a couple days, so we've got about 4 weeks ahead of us in terms of ball training. And we really like the roster that we've put together. Guys are really focused and eager.
At the same time, All Saints Embu 15's rugby team claimed the School Team of the Year award after beating Friends School Kamusinga and Musingu's hockey team. Meanwhile, football legend John Bobby Ogola was inducted in the Sawyer Hall of Fame, while All Saints Embu 15's rugby coach Benson Mwenda won the School Coach of the Year title. This was the 21st edition of the awards, which focused on celebrating women's excellence in sports.
We must enhance women's access to training facilities, sponsorship opportunities, and career advancement.
They were founded by 5-time world cross-country champion and the current president of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, Dr. Paul Tergat. Tony Kwalanda, TV 47 Sport.
Okay. So you know what? We have finished with the serious part of the show tonight. And you know what? I can't wait to get into that chat with the bolos. Wamekaa hapa wanakaa. Yani wanakaa warembo, sijui niseme nini. I mean, I'm so excited to have them in studio, and I can also feel the excitement online, like from the moment I actually posted. It has been fantastic feedback. Kila mtu anasema fundi ni moja. And of course, we also have Willis Ochieng, who's going to be joining us live and direct, of course, from Kisii County, talking to us about those difficult pronunciations. Like I mentioned, one thing I've learned from him is that you don't say lettuce, but you say lettuce. All right, so don't go away. We're coming back with the good stuff right here on this Friday with me, Betty.